At least the defaults.
Is on.
That's why the best distros are the ones that just have nothing by default. And then you set the defaults.
Yeah. Well, you can start from scratch with things like Arch. It's a little more difficult.
Arch has an installer now.
Maybe a compromise. Maybe a compromise in between would be, I haven't used it, but maybe Anti-X, Amex used to be Mepis.
I also have not used that.
I haven't. I've been promising myself one of these days I'll put it in. I have room for it.
I'm pretty happy with Mint.
Oh yeah, I've got Mint.
Do you have like 10,000 installations or something?
I have Mint because there's a user group where we have beginners, and they're learning on Mint. And I use Ubuntu Unity because that's my favorite flavor of Ubuntu. I have a Chromebook that can't quite fit a full Ubuntu on there, so it's got Xubuntu. All of it up to date to jammy. And the Mint I use is Mint Cinnamon. I'm not a fan of snaps.
Neither am I.
I think Ubuntu is only going to go further down that path, though. But I also am not a fan.
Flatpak I don't mind. That sometimes is good.
Well, at our last Natick FOSS meeting, we had a guy from Ubuntu, from Canonical.
Yeah.
And I was going to try to get him to our meeting, but he's overseas, and it's kind of hard for him to work out the clock. And our last time we tried to have somebody talk about Snap from Canonical, the guy ghosted us.
Yeah, we did have a guy at the Natick meeting. Yeah, he was he identified himself as being from Canonical.
Yeah.
And he was there most of the meeting.
Yes, he was, but he was overseas. He was in Europe.
Yeah. It was nice of him to come, and he did have some interesting things to add. He was very nice toward people who didn't like various things about Ubuntu and were wondering how to work around them.
Okay, Brennan, you look like your connection's pretty poor.
Oh, I don't know if you can hear me, but I set the performance to high performance, low quality because I'm on a cheap netbook and I don't know if it would work very well otherwise.
Okay.
Can you hear me when I speak?
Yeah, we can hear you when you speak.
Okay, that's good. I got locked out of WeWork today. Here's a life tip for everyone. If you're using a sublet office or a hotel room, do not leave a locked area without your key card, your wallet, your phone, your home keys, and the emergency number for the facility. So all the locks stopped working, and the 3 staff members that were on the site couldn't do anything except call for help. And it took the IT guy in the basement 2 hours to open all the locks. And nobody offered to go around, nobody could unlock the locks individually where people had stuff stuck in the room.
I was at our condo sales office because I had just bought a condo and still filming up some stuff, and a guy walked up. He needed to charge his phone because his phone went dead. He couldn't unlock his Tesla.
Yep.
I said, "Where was your key card?" Yeah, I carry a key card in my wallet.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get locked out for some reason, for the same reason, I always have it. He was in a walk at condo was right across from a state park, and he was out in the walk in the park.
Did you hear somebody could not put Tesla into drive for hours because Netflix wouldn't shut down?
That I didn't see.
So I had a similar issue. I was at a restaurant where you could only go to, you can only look at the menu with your phone. And so I didn't have my phone with me. So I asked, like, can I have a paper menu? This was just maybe a week ago. And instead of giving me a paper menu, the waitress just gave me her phone, which is like,
Yeah.
I guess like that,
Yeah.
that solves the problem. But that's a lot of trust that you have to put in the customer.
Yeah.
The other day I had one of those menu situations, and my situation was the free Wi-Fi didn't work, and I spent 5 minutes trying to get Wi-Fi to work, and the password was no good. And the waitress came up and asked if I wanted anything, and I said, I can't read your menu because the Wi-Fi is not working. And she actually handed me a paper menu.
Oh, hooray,
That's
hooray.
good service. The other thing that's so annoying in restaurants is those, it's not just the menus. They don't have like a notepad anymore to just write down what I'm saying. So they have to like scroll through like a tablet in this particular place I was at. And it took forever. It's just the proliferation of tablets everywhere. We have tablets here at my school just to control the volume of the TV. They're mounted on the wall. And I went and rooted one of them and like let the IT department know, and they were like, well, it's on a VLAN, like you can't do anything with that. But like that's not true at all. They have cameras and microphones. I can go install apps on the other tablets remotely. It's like it's a total mess. I think no one's thinking about, like, everyone's just like more tablets better, and no one who like has that decision making power is like thinking about the security of doing all that.
Yeah. It's crazy. So shall we start off? It's about ready to start the meeting. We're recording, and we've got. Since I want to mention that our annual barbecue is on Saturday, 23rd, which is next Saturday. Everybody is invited.
Night, Papa.
Good night. Can I give you a little hug? Mm. Good night. Sleep tight.
Good night, Papa.
Yeah, good night. Good night.
Okay.
So that barbecue is on a Saturday. Okay.
Yeah, it usually is. It starts at 3:00.
That's better than it being on a Sunday for reasons I won't go into.
You might
Yeah.
be able to make it.
I don't think we've ever had the barbecue on a Sunday. We've had it installed on Sunday because one of our members is an Orthodox Jew and couldn't attend. That's Rajiv. We had two Rajivs in the group. One was the Orthodox Jew from Israel, and the other one was from India. So, any case, Jabber, do you want to start off with your presentation?
We're talking about the BookReader application from the Internet Archive. Trying my VM. Okay, so the Internet Archive does a basically a scan and scan a whole bunch of books that they get from libraries and put in an online digital library. They have an open source book reader, so you can use it for your own books. what we talking about here tonight.
Jabber, I don't see your presentation. I just see your icon.
God, it's showing up in my window when I look at it. Not getting out of the Brady Bunch mode. Okay, well, I think I should mute everyone else because things shipping to other people.
I refresh the screen and I see just John's icon.
The icon being the image with the planets in the background, and
No, his is a cartoon face.
It looks like the problem. Maybe part of the problem was somebody muted me while I was talking, and that's why I'm not seeing myself. I'm just seeing everyone else who's talking. I thought I'd muted everyone else, but it didn't seem to work. Try that again. So, thumbs up if you can hear me. And I don't know why it's still not showing me. Still not seeing my window. I don't know what other people are seeing, but it's what I'm seeing is it keeps going to other people's faces, and it's not showing my presentation. Is that what other people are seeing? Are you seeing the presentation?
All I see you is your icon.
I see the icon and I see John with the planets in the background.
Hide self view and see if that helps anything. Okay, what's showing now?
I just see your avatar in the screen, in the middle of the screen, and I see your thumbnail on the upper right. Okay, now you're not sharing, and I can see you.
I just stopped sharing to see it, and I'm going to start it up again and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, now are you seeing it?
Yes, looks good.
Okay, you're good. It's blurry, but good.
Get back to being. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the Internet Archive's BookReader. Yeah, website talks about it. Here's a sample of what the results will be in web browser. Here's the cover of the book, first page, and the sample page in the middle of the book. Download from GitHub. So thing you need to do is download the thing. Here temporarily. Window. Right now I'm on the in the web root for the website I'm going to get into. Box that direct in the US. First thing I'm going to do is
Jabber, you might want to exit your browser and restart it.
saying it disconnect from Jitsi and the reconnect.
All
Hey,
I
Doc.
see is your avatar.
Okay, I'll try logging out, logging in again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your connection looks good now, John.
Okay.
Now we can see it very nicely.
So this, just start now. Like that.
Yeah, we can see your presentation.
Okay, so we download the code for the book reader. A lot faster when I tried it earlier today. There we go. A whole bunch of stuff. It's a demo directory. It has a number of different ways of using the reader. The book reader code itself is in this directory. You have to top the web root directory. Yeah. It's going to be included in the HTML pages. They fold the book in. If you have the book as a PDF file, you want to convert it to JPEG images. It's actually a bit like this one. The file book.pdf here. That's the book I got downloaded from the Internet Archive before. PDF to PPM to create all the JPEG images. I'm going to start this out to show how it's done, but then I'm going to interrupt it a bit. I've already saved the JPEG images, so we won't have to wait. So what it's doing is it'll take each page from the PDF file and create a JPEG image from it with a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. Copy this. So that temporary trade is created. This I said it didn't use an actual dash. Let me feedback. Okay, first page so far. Take the big pages there. There's 158 pages for it. Okay. That want to generate the JavaScript for everything. That's in the whole directory. Step is to generate a JavaScript include file that includes all the metadata for all the use identify command from the magic. Not all the page files. And just we could like delete this and if we just want the page file and the there's a set magic to clean that. There you go. Take it from that. Yeah. After that is the play files here. Clean that. Instead of adding all the data in the we're running another set command to put the wrappers that'll blind set pages. Here, the page one is an array that contains just the one page. Okay. Here. Yep. You put in the page sizes JSON, which is the page going to be using. You got a web page. Oh, the file. to that. I normally do this with a Z script join at the end of this. And now I'm just stepping through and doing it manually. Of the book. Later. In the I got the next part after this. Anyway, I have a rough. I actually have a script I wrote a few years ago that does all this automatically. Here. Make sure that is we have a couple of common files that need to be included. This is basically compiling for each book, so all the so it can be used on different websites. On the computer thing. Yeah. When a book looks thick, 58 pages. Well, you can take some questions. If you unmute yourselves.
Okay, thank you, Jabber.
Okay.
Looks good.
So when I start up your Ventoy,
Either my Ventoy or Dick, do you want to go now? And I'll go after you, or I can go now, either one. You need to unmute Dick. Dick, you're muted.
Do it. Better?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep,
Good.
better.
I just wanted to say again that we've been using Ventoy for more than a year, and we love it. So pay good attention to Jerry.
Okay. So I was going to ask Dick if he wanted to go before me or after me.
I was assuming you'd go first.
Okay, I will. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Lovely.
Okay. Well, Ventoy is a multi-volt USB solution, and I only discovered it recently. I didn't know about it, but I've been looking for a multi-volt USB. You know, and right now I have nine various USB sticks in my drawer. I probably have more in another drawer. And this replaces more than 9 of them. I got a whole bunch of ISOs in my Dropbox that I've done for install fests and stuff like that. And what is Ventoy? It's an open source tool for creating a single bootable USB stick that can hold several bootable images. It's open sourced. It's GPL version 3. It supports legacy or secure boot, supports Windows, Linux, Chrome OS, as well as virtualization images. And Linux installation, it supports both a Qt and a GTK or command line feature. And they have the URLs you can get it at. And many YouTube instructions out there. And again, I downloaded Ventoy 1.0.78 Linux tar GZ. And the Linux, the tar, if you do the tar, you get the whole package on there, so it makes it easy. And this is the Ventoy install. You just, untar it. And what I did is I double clicked down here to Ventoy GUI x86-64. And it comes right up. Okay, it shows what device you're going to put it to, and you can change that to give you a list. It tells you what version of Ventoy you're going to install, and just click on install. And you'll see that it's already installed now on Ventoy. It takes very quickly, just a couple minutes. Okay, and then the next thing you do is just copy the ISOs, copy any ISOs or images from your hard disk over to partition 1 of the USB. And I didn't show the partition scheme, but I have that up right now. You see. Yeah, I can't switch it without screwing the share. So, but what it does, it creates two partitions on the USB. One partition of the Ventoy itself, that's partition 2. And so partition 1 is where you put your ISOs. And you copy the ISOs from anywhere on your hard drive and copy to the USB. In this case, I copied 27, then I found out the Ubuntu last one filled up the USB, so I had to delete a couple. So I got about 25 on there. And that's all you have to do. Then all you do is boot it. So here's what I did to boot it. This is my boot menu on my laptop. And it boots Ventoy. And there's Ventoy, and it gives you a scrollable list of ISOs. And of course, you can't do a screen share, so I had to use my camera. So the image isn't great. And again, it's one of the easiest ways. You know, I really wish that I had this tool for InstallFest. It would have made my job a lot easier. And you can put any ISO on there or any image and stuff like that, anything that generally you can boot on a computer. And I really, it's an excellent tool. And that's it for my presentation. I will unshare. Okay.
I'm really glad you shared that. I had no idea it existed.
Yeah.
I would like to add one thing. If you want to update your ISOs, all you have to do is just delete what you don't want and put in what you do want onto the USB stick. And Ventoy will do a scan when it boots, and it will find anything it can boot on there. So updating is really easy. Updating Ventoy itself, you use that GUI.
Yeah.
And it's just a 1-minute process. I've done it several times, and I need to do it again. And updating Ventoy does not disturb its ability to boot anything.
Yeah, it's a very, very useful tool. And again, if we have InstallFest in the future, you know, it would be great for me, especially to move from one station to another.
Yes, it's a really good way to set up a utility USB so that you can have Gparted on there, Grub Repair, maybe Windows Repair.
Exactly.
Maybe even a Windows image. You can put your Windows image on there if you have enough space.
How about a Windows Delete Forever?
Windows Delete Forever is a very easy thing to do. That you don't need Ventoy for.
That's called wipe.
Well, you can. There are other ways. But in any event, I find that with Linux beginners, they don't like juggling a whole bunch of different USB sticks when they're trying to install Linux for the first time. And it's really nice to be able to say, well, now you can have it all in one place.
Exactly.
So,
Once you boot it, you can install it if you wish.
you can install anything you've got on there if you have an installer. You can even use a Windows installer from there.
How does this work? Is this extracting the ISOs, or is it just mounting them each time, like when you boot? Because I imagine if it's just mounting them, which seems like the easier thing to do, then it might be slower than like an image that I had copied onto some fast file system on the hard or on the flash drive.
Yeah, Ben, what appears to happen is Ventoy kicks in first, and it acts as a pre-boot, just like Grub would. So it acts as a grub, and then it boots into whatever Linux is on the ISO or whatever Windows pre-install environment is on the ISO. So there's a secondary boot, but it's booting as though the ISO were its very own CD or USB.
So then it's just mounting the ISO. It's not like it has like one partition per ISO that it then processes them into. Right?
No,
Okay.
It does not create any partitions. All it does is just bring itself into memory, and then it brings the ISO boot into memory.
So I would bet there's a measurable performance impact of doing that, because you're reading out of an ISO instead of reading out of like ext4.
Yeah. I would say there's a couple of seconds delay compared with direct boot. And that's on really fast equipment. Slower equipment, it will be more noticeable. It's convenience versus speed.
Fair enough.
But it's really a quick boot.
Yeah, Ventoy doesn't take very long to do its thing.
What I would be interested in seeing would be a benchmark of once you've booted the ISO, whether like booting it through Ventoy versus just having it on a flash drive with a fast file system. I would be interested to see the performance difference there.
All right, I have run Clonezilla live from Ventoy and from its own dedicated USB. The performance on even relatively slow hardware on my Chromebook does not seem to be impacted very much. There might be a slight difference, but it's
That's
not
very
much.
cool. That is cool.
So now we don't have to carry around all those USBs.
Yep, that's what it's about.
That's good.
This is Dick. I'd also wanted to mention that that Ventoy boot of anything you've got on it will run fine in RAM on a borrowed computer. You don't have to affect the hard drive to, for instance, demonstrate 3 flavors of Linux and help someone decide which one they want before the installation. It's an awfully nice tool for many things. And when Jerry presented last week at our Natick FOSS group meeting, I said I would round up a few different different options for thumb drives. You're going to put your Ventoy on something, and which something you put it on can make a big difference. If all you're doing is choosing 1 out of 10 operating systems to install, any old thumb drive will be fine. But you can use it to run for days on an uninstalled Linux. And you do that by setting to suspend in between use. And now you've got a thumb drive sticking out like a lever, ready to break the port if you move your laptop in the wrong way.
Okay.
I've got a first answer for.
Frozen.
And just a minute, I've also set up my sharing. Just a minute, there's a way to get back that's easy. Do you remember what it is, Jill?
Unshare?
No, to just flip between without unsharing. We were doing it so nicely last week. Easy come, easy go. Well, I'll just describe them quickly for now. I am holding a thumb drive that is essentially no longer than the part that goes in the socket. It's got a little outside edge big enough to grab to pull it out, and that's it. You can carry that around for days with all your good stuff on it and keep running until you decide to reboot your Ventoy into something
You want
else.
to hold it in front of my
Yes,
camera?
please. Can you do that, Joe? This is a nothing thumb drive. It's just the end part and a little grabber beyond it. So you're not going to use this as a lever to cause damage if you carry it around in your laptop or the trunk of your car or whatever. That's one. Here, oh, Jill, compare the two. That's your standard good thumb drive, and the one Jill was showing you is about that big alongside it.
Wait a minute, let me put it.
There's there's the message, and you can put just as much on it, and they cost pretty much the same amount. We'll get into some of that later, but uh, here's a different idea. Here's a This is the same thumb drive until you rotate it in its outer shell. Just push the outside end, Joe. Up and over. And what do you know? It'll fit into a USB-C opening, like for instance on your smartphone. And you can just move things back and forth between them ever so easily with that kind of a drive. Here's a slightly shorter one doing exactly the same thing, but it covers both ends when it's closed. You can extend either end, USB-A or USB-C. Same trick. Same good collection of sizes you can get them in, big capacities and small. Finally, here's a 1 terabyte and one of the most beautiful thumb drives I have ever seen. If we can get it past 256 gigs, I'll let you know. But it says very clearly on it that it's a 1 terabyte drive, and it's just elegant. So a lot of different kinds of thumb drives that extend the value of that Ventoy into some other ways of using it. I thought I'd add that to the preceding talk. And now I'd like to get into a shopping spree. Linux is free, and that's one reason we love it. It's also damn good, better than Windows on a number of counts. And that's another reason we love it. Free and better. That's a bargain. Jill and I own Miller Microcomputer Services. Just a minute, maybe I can show you that.
Can you turn on your camera?
Not there, I can't.
And plus, you're running out of power.
Oh. Oh, ho. Here's a good one. Thank you. And I will interrupt this little slideshow of photos.
It's not showing, dear. You're
Okay.
locked.
Where am I?
You're frozen here. Haven't moved.
On screen. I thought I was on. Let me go back and see me.
What about the dump truck?
Someone's been paying attention to Lake Cochituate News.
You want to stop sharing, I think.
I do.
Well, it depends on whether you want to show things or want to be seen.
I wanted to first show the screen. That's not the screen I want to show.
Go find the screen you want to show.
Are you?
It's not coming up here anyway.
Why not? I claim it is.
Stop your sharing and try sharing it again.
Okay.
I am seeing Dick's desktop
Yeah, okay.
and everything that's happening on it.
So am I.
Good. Okay, Jill, you've got the issue then, I think.
There's Dick Miller right
Yep,
there.
try to work on it. Meanwhile, I will proceed. I am currently showing a slideshow of slides of photos. Jill, they are seeing it.
They are?
Am I correct?
I had to refresh the browser page to be
Yeah, I
able to
did
see it.
too. I refreshed and it shows up.
So Jill, work on that instead of having me start for everyone. Now, we're currently looking at a slideshow mostly of photos that I took with my favorite camera. My favorite camera is a camera I have with me all the time, and that means a smartphone. Somebody's got a microphone on, echoing their speaker. Goodness gracious. Somebody found it. Good.
Got it.
Yeah, it was Paul. I muted him.
All right.
Okay. Best to not have your speaker attached to your microphone. It makes a lot of noise. So these are mostly my pictures, but that one was not. And there's some others that were not. I gather some too. I'm going to turn it off right up top here. That's a favorite program called Variety. It's gone. I'll put up a different background, the one that's built into my Ubuntu Unity that I like very much. And I'll go pick a wallpaper of mine from over hither. Come on, guys, you're in there. There it comes. And I'll pick this one. So our company has specialized for, maybe 10 or 15 years anyway, in Linux. And we've gravitated to Ubuntu. And when Ubuntu developed what we thought was the best front end ever, we loved it. And then when they abandoned it, we missed it. It's called Unity. And like everything else in Linux, when Ubuntu abandoned it, it's free open source code. Other people picked it up, maintained it, updated it to the newer versions of Ubuntu, and pretty soon one fellow decided to just package it as the default version for people that love Unity and Ubuntu. So you'll be watching me using Ubuntu Unity, and it's a download like any other. You can put it on Ventoy like any other. You can install it. It's very good, and it can use the Ubuntu repository. And it's the most unique Linux out there in at least one regard, and that is that the fellow in the center of this project is 12 years old. He's been putting out an excellent version for a little over 2 years now. So he started when he was 10 years old, and that's incredible. Of course, he's building on Ubuntu, which is very well maintained also, but he knows what he's doing. He's in India, and his English, like for many people in India, is excellent. No problems. And you can talk to him. So this is good news. I'm also showing off here a fractal image that I created using a program you can download from most any version. And it's called Chaos, but it's spelled in the classical Greek manner, X-A-O-S. The X is capital and the S at the end is capital. The two letters in the middle are lowercase. And it makes wonderful fractals very quickly. And you can see what's way down inside without waiting even 1 minute. And you can make something different every time you try. It's especially pretty because I finished it off using my favorite photo program, which is Photox, F-O-T-O-X-X. We'll be talking more about it, but I am heavily glued to it by now. I found it so good that I started volunteering to help develop it. I don't do the programming. I do some suggestions and a lot of beta testing, and a lot of it has bent in directions I like because I'm able to do that. And I use Photox to take the image and make it a lot brighter. I saturated and brightened and sharpened and It was already sharp, but sharpening does something extra that makes it sharper to the eye. The photax sharpening, that is. So very nice. And while I was in there, Photox does everything I want for photos. So I also use it to label the photo inside, writing on it, picking a few different fonts, and picking a background color and a tiny little bit of a black outline color. So when it goes over yellow, for instance, it still reads loud and clear. A nice touch, all built into Photox. These are the things I want. The hardware isn't quite as cheap as the Linux is, and that's a shame. Um, but our company specializes in delivering Linux to users that want it set up the way we set it up and can support it well, or can develop some custom solution for a custom application of theirs. Uh, and uh, we do that typically on a computer that we buy used but refurbished, factory refurbished by the very company that sold it out in the first place. This company will equip a corporation with thousands of the same computer, run them for 3 years and support them while they're running, and then take them all back after 3 years and issue a new set. The ones they get back are largely in good shape. They've been maintaining them anyway when they weren't. But there's something else working in our favor, and that is they were flagship computers, not the one you'll typically compromise on when you go to the store, but a better one that will last longer, more reliable, and we get ones that have good horsepower. So typically, with our work adding all the extra Linux, and it's all the things I'll be showing you and a lot more, not just Ubuntu Unity, we can deliver that whole computer for $700 complete, except usually we'd rather, if the client agrees, charge one extra $100 and turn it over all built onto a 1 terabyte solid state drive. They come with various smaller sizes in them, and now the 1 terabytes are perfectly practical and available. So we prefer to do it that way. It's the customer's choice. That's what we're selling. What it's guaranteed to have in it is an HP Elite book, and the typical one we use is a 14-inch 840 G2. Uh, it will have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it will have a Intel Core i7 CPU, and it will be a powerful computer for maybe 1/3 or 1/4 of the price of buying the equivalent new. It's probably going to outlast most of your new computers. That's been our experience for quite a few years and with quite a few customers that we still talk to. So that's where we're coming from. We want to use a computer that is not throttled down in any way, and we want to use that extra horsepower for less money to do good things with Linux. Now, I've already told you we have a nice Fractal program or two or three, and we have great photo programs. Um, and we simply stopped using all of them except for Photox. It's that good. It's a bunch smaller and I think easier than the GIMP. I think it's very logical, very quick and easy to use. And a lot of what you see is what you get. You see it growing quickly for whatever change you're making, and you can stop or back off as you like. And then either save it or undo it a few steps if you decided that was fun, but not what I want to keep. Let's try another way. All well and good. You need a good camera to go with it, And for a few years now, we've been recommending exactly the same trip on an LG.
Your fractal thing.
Good. I had a question again.
Are you actually showing other slides? Because all I'm seeing here is your little fractal thing with your URL on it.
I didn't quite catch that. Did you?
He says, are you going to show them anything else than this?
Oh, yes,
slide?
most definitely. But first, I'm setting the stage. So, what happened not quite a month ago is we were very happily using LG V30 smartphones, which were famous a few years back for the excellent camera they had inside. We agreed, and we recommended them to a lot of people, and we're perfectly happy until our provider for the plan that goes with the phone notified us that we had 2 weeks before the phones went obsolete for their wonderful improved system. How come? They're 4G phones, not 3G. And the answer turned out to be somehow they've managed to lock themselves out of even 4G unless it has voice over LTE built in. And these phones we've liked so much did not. We went into panic mode. We were running out of telephones and cameras at the same time. What to do? And again, it had to be cheaper and better. Now that you've got the background where we're coming from and how fast and hard we were looking, I will start looking at some of what we did. The first thing I will do is photo. Can I get to Photox from here? Yes, I can. I'm going to go to Photox. I better go to another window. And in my Photox, I will go first and look for our Natick Foss webpage. You can do it too, but you don't have to. I'll be tracking it. I'm going to be using information on it. natickfoss.org is all you have to know. And that, it says here, will get you to our home page. And that's interesting, but on it, I'm going to go to our Foss User Group archive because our talk about the same topic was a week ago. So come on, archive, and there you can jump to the draft agenda for our next meeting, and it's right under that. Here it is, July 14th. So this is the meeting that we just had on July 14th, and Bill Ricker is on, and he gave a good talk. Some of you might want to watch, but I'm starting right here. We spent most of a week window shopping to find out what we could do that was better than our prior good connection. And we ended up with a deal some of you will like too. The Samsung Galaxy A53 5G is the smartphone of choice. I'll tell you very quickly that if you take a top line smartphone from Galaxy line of Samsung, it'll probably be an S22 Ultra, something like that, going for about $1,000. Samsung has been getting less prominent in that top line. They're getting more competition in it. But the good news is that in exchange, they are also moving more of their top line features into their mid range phones. And they, in fact, sell more phones than any other company in the world. And it's because of that move, I dare say. So here's a phone that they think is a $450 phone, replacing the A53, which was a $500 phone. And they've added some nice features from the top line S22 series. That sounds like a good deal. And a lot of people, I think we have not a selling here, but a review of it. If I'm, whoops, did I hit the wrong button? I didn't think so. Um, Try again. A50, I must have. Here we go. And they think it's a hell of a deal, and so do a lot of other people. They think it's excellent. Is it? We looked at a lot of reviews, and you can too. Just type in the name of it and reviews in the internet, and you'll find a lot of them. We were impressed. We were more impressed as we started looking for where we would use it, and we found out you could get discounts from the companies who were selling you the plan. You can get discounts elsewhere, but those were the best discounts of all. The one we decided to go to was um, Boost Mobile. They have a $100 per year plan that bundled in the $450 phone for $150. You have to stay with them for, you can bail anytime you want, but for the phone deal, you don't own all of it until you've been with them for 1 year. Not a big deal. Uh, so we thought we'd try it. We talked to some people that said they had very good service. We also talked to some people that said, but their support can be very frustrating at times. The phone will keep running, but if you need some help from them, you might have to call 5 people to get one you can understand well, and vice versa. Why is that? I think most of the people we talked to were based in the Philippines. Interesting. Sometimes a poor phone connection, sometimes good English, sometimes accurate English, but not so understandable, sometimes understandable, but not so accurate. They weren't kidding. There's a price to be paid, but if you have some patience, this is a good deal. So that's the nature of the deal. You can read the details on both. And in the plan, I'll go to it. This is the plan you're talking about. It limits you to 1 gigabyte of data per month, but unlimited talks and text. Most of our data use is going to be when we're at home and our phone is in range of our Wi-Fi system, so it will be free. Or we switch to a laptop with a bigger screen, and that will be free. So we thought 1 gigabyte of data would be fine on the phone. We can still transfer data to it for free locally, or with that tricky little two-way thumb stick that I showed you 2 examples of. So for us, this made good sense. And they were offering phones at very reduced prices, including down the ways. Oh, they have some expensive ones too. The very one I'm speaking of right here. It's $149.99, and all you have to do is get it along with the plan. The way they're going to sell it to you is you agree to do both, and then they charge you the money and send you the phone. When you have the phone, you put in the included SIM card, and if you like, up to a terabyte of TF tiny memory inside, and then you use the phone to call them and set up the actual account, and then you're all set to go. So it's in that order. And we got pretty prompt delivery on everything but the right SIM card. They sent us the wrong SIM card for the plan. Uh, Figure on 2 weeks if they don't send you the right SIM card. So my tip to you is make sure when you're ordering the phone that you remind them to include the SIM card for that bargain plan. the one they include with more expensive plans won't work. We learned the lesson. You don't have to. Let's see. Now you've got a phone and you've got a laptop and they're talking to each other and you've got one of the best cameras in the business anywhere near that $450, $500 price range, and you got it for $150. Well, I'm going to show you on Jill's computer. We can do it
Phone.
on Jill's laptop.
Oh,
I'll show you the phone. I'm working hard. Got it. Mine looks. Uh,
oh, wait a minute.
oh,
I have to turn on my microphone and my.
okay. Just a minute. When Jill gets in gear.
You're sharing your
I'm.
screen, so I
I'm
can't
going.
show it.
I will show both. Do you have yours in reach?
My phone? No. No. Yes.
Oh,
But
same difference. Okay. We'll use mine.
but Dick,
What?
you're sharing your screen, so it's taking over. I can't show them.
Okay.
Except in this little.
They can't click on your image and see it.
No.
Okay. Never mind. You'll see it anyway, and I'll show you the parts. So the phone is a stunner in many ways, and let's go look at it in a better place than where I showed you. I'll go back to that first one and look a little deeper into it. I did. No, I didn't. Here we go. And
Finally came up here.
here's the phone. Look at the back of it, and it's got main cameras, a whopping bright light source, and other goodies, rangefinder and such, and it's all set to go. What it does not have is a telephoto camera lens. What it does have is a normal camera that's very high resolution and that can serve as telephoto. And you can quickly learn how to zoom to it or set it to work that way. You can preset the cameras in it. The third one is a macro camera, and there's one for very low level nighttime use. I've been finding I don't much have to use it. The regular one works in what I call very low level. Very interesting. But in any case, it's a very good camera, and it has the one defect they all have. Most of the cases come with no protection for those lenses. They protect everything on the back and the edges, and they protect the corners with shock absorbing corners. And if you don't drop them straight glass onto a rock, you'll do fine. This phone comes with Gorilla Glass number 5, which is tough stuff. So presumably you don't need one of those little screen covers, and that will only slightly deteriorate the image you see on the screen, which is very high quality. So what we did is we got a standard clear case that fits it, but has a big hole for the lenses and other key points. And we'll go look at those. And our shopping spree turned out to find a lot of items. For the case, a regular protective case is what I would normally use going to a business meeting or something like that. And it's just a case that's going to neatly cover the phone at the back. This is showing the phone in the case, and that's the phone in the case looking from the front. And the corners are extra special bumpers, and that's about it. We paid more. These are cheaper. I've updated the web page information for this week's latest deals, and at $395 delivered. That's an excellent case, and it's good. We went back to the same place, Case Dazzle, uh, to get a much fancier case. And this is the only one I found that I liked that would actually really protect the phone all the way, including the lenses. To me, the fancy part. Uh, it's not this one, but it's from the same company, and it's going to be this one. It has a sliding section that will slide over the lenses. It has a ring section in it that the ring will swing up and out, and you put one finger through it, and your fingers are more free to work with the phone without having to hang on to it. Especially important if it's slippery, but this is a good matte case also. It's not going to be slippery. So that's very nice. You can also prop that ring fitting at 90 degrees out and then lay the phone on its side and look at it without touching it at all. If you're chatting with somebody on the phone and you can see the things and talk, and meanwhile have your hands free.
Chatting on Jitsi.
Like on Jitsi. And finally, the ring that and you can rotate it. That's a ring inside it that it's attached to that rotates and clicks into a lot of little stops along the way so it won't swing loose. And you can use that to arrange it to hold it easily in the horizontal mode, etc., etc. But the ring itself is made out of metal, and you can get yourself a magnetic mount, for instance, one that goes in your car, and this just pops right onto it. So now your phone is equipped with its fitting, and it comes in a few colors too, etc. So you can click and read all about it. You can read about it elsewhere, but uh, this is not its price. It turns out they're a little tricky, like so many companies online. You have to select the phone model, and there it is, A53 5G. Now we've got the one for the right phone up here, A53 5G. I already had it, so you were seeing it there. And it's still this incredible bargain price. You do have to select a color, and that's the catch. I've got a black one, Jill's got a blue one, we're black and blue. And it's still one hell of a bargain for an incredibly safe case for a phone. Recommended highly, and it had one feature they didn't mention anywhere in addition to all the ones we did mention. The feature is down on the side of it, down low, there are two extra little holes. I've threaded a wrist loop through them, so it's always attached there, and I can just pull on it to get the phone out of my pocket. I can put it around my wrist and still use the phone easily. If I'm, for instance, leaning over a cliff, taking a picture down, things like that. Not going to drop it into the lake that way when you're
on a whale watching trip.
On the whale watching trip, right? So very highly recommended, and you can just put a string through it or get one of the nice little items, and we sell them cheap. I think they're $3 for the loop. So highly recommended. We just found that these were around, and I'm surprised how rare they are on the online sites and in the stores. Look for the sliding cover for the lens to start, and you're apt to find it. So back to shopping. There's one more case you might want to get. It has a feature none of the others have, and that is an important one if you're using it as a camera. It makes sure the people in the picture are smiling, and that's the Smile Maker alternative, it costs $20. It's not cheap, but you're going to like it. And that's my choice of camera cases for the day. Back to other shopping. And again, we're putting together an incredible package to go with those good Linux tools. Um, when they dropped $50 from the list price at Samsung, they did something else. They dropped what was an included fast charging plug in the wall power supply. You don't get it anymore. They assume you have a power supply. And we do, and you do. No big deal. Any regular power supply with a C fitting, a USB C at the phone end, or with an adapter to USB C will work fine. But a fast charging one, we can get them very inexpensively, but we did something different instead. This one we got for $14 delivered with a C2C cable ready to go in, but the charger has that USB-C port for that cable that comes with it, and it also has a USB-A connector, and it's good for 65 watts. Now, the smartphone can take up to 25 watts for fast charging, and that's pretty good. A lot of them go to 10 or 13 watts. So why did we get a 65 watt one? Because this one could charge the laptop and the phone at the same time on one little thing we carry around, and it's a bunch smaller than our current power supplies for the laptops. And in addition to that, uh, it charges so quickly that our two of these phones can charge fast enough in some spare time. Uh, an hour will almost fill it totally. And like electric vehicles, you actually don't want to charge these totally. 80% is a good number to stop at if you're not in a panic. And we haven't been. It's turned out to be a very good battery life. And so now we got one that'll also charge the 65-watt capability of the battery in our laptops. And one size fits all. It's small. It'll go in a pocket and leave a lot of room extra, or go in the case for the laptop and leave a lot of room extra on a trip. So this one size fits 4 gadgets at once. We thought we'd give it a try. But we will also add to that list, which you will be able to get to, we will add a perfectly good fast charger, 25 watt size, only the C plug, and $5 delivered. So you have a lot of choices there other than simply using what you already use. That was a good set of choices also in my book. And let's see. So we've got fast charging. By the way, it's a gallium nitride uh, electronic system inside. They're the efficient ones. They use less electricity, they run cooler, and they're the new thing. They were expensive a few years ago. Now they're not. And here's an article you can read about why that's a lot better, both for your use at your end and for the global warming that we seem doomed to ignore. Um, so there you go. We've got a case, we've got a power supply, and if we only had a headset, well, with this phone, it turns out if you are in a room on your own or outdoors, you don't need a headset. Its screen is bright outdoors. That's new to me. And its audio is both excellent quality, which we had before, but excellent quality on its own two tiny built in speakers. That is a stunner. And I'm talking out loud. We have speakers we normally attach to our laptop if we want people to hear it as a group. They're not very expensive, but they're bulky. These smartphones can substitute for that speaker. They are that good when attached to the laptop or used on their own. But sometimes you don't want to make any noise for the people next to you. And for that purpose, you want a set of earbuds or an earphone. And earbuds are tiny and travel easy. So we got some wireless ones because there are two things missing on this particular trade-off on smartphone. One was that fast charger, and we solved the problem for a lot less money than Samsung would charge. You can buy their version of it for $42. This one seems to work just as well, not just our opinion. Um, Similarly, there's a lot of wireless earbuds you can buy out there, and you're going to buy something because it does not have the usual audio jack to plug an audio plug into for your wired headset or your wired earbuds. So we thought we'd spring for some wireless ones. And the question was the $300 ones, the $100 ones. These are $46 ones. And they turn out to be quite good. This is the company that sells them in the US. And they come in a little carrying box that's its own charger. It'll recharge the phones uh, 4 or 5 additional times on the one time you charge the box while the buds were in it. It charged the buds and it charged the battery in the box. And these three lights are telling me that it still has a lot more than a 75% charge since we started using it. It'll keep its charge for weeks if you're not using it, and it does its thing. Uh, the earbuds, you point these toward your corner of your mouth, pop them in your ear, and they come with a few different ear tips, as most do, so you'll probably find one that's a really good fit. It blocks outside noise, and it's not apt to fall out on the ground. And they have a speaker at each end of this arm and a microphone. I'm sorry, a microphone at each end and a speaker in here, of course. And the two microphones on each one allow it to use them to cancel the exterior noise better than most. On top of everything else, it does nicely. And this $46 phone, while we were doing our bargain shopping, what do you know? We're talking about the same phone, folks. We bought them for 8. The price has been bopping up and down. I think there's at least one place you can buy this one for under 9. Let's see if I'm right. Uh, that's one of it, but there's a few others in here. If it looks like this, and this, it's pretty surely the same phone. And then you check for the actual factory model number, earbuds rather. Then you check for the actual earbuds number, which is, we gave it to you, B2-BH023. That's the one, that's the $46 one. And it's a lot of these in here. Is this? No, that's not the same one. It might be good. I'm not telling you it isn't. But normally you can get that other one for under $10. And I think if I keep looking here, I'll find one. But we got good service from, this isn't the place I was talking about either. So one of the other ones is from the same place those other clear plastic ones were from. And it'll be good. What more do I need to say about it?
Dick, I have a question.
Yes.
How long do they last on a Jitsi meeting?
I think on anything I've tried them on, they're good for, I think, about 4 hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours on other things. But if you're using them intensely, I think probably 4 to 5 hours is the limit. And then you plug them in 10 minutes of charge time. Um, you can get another half hour and or more, maybe an hour, again depending on the use. And the other half of the story is you can run on one while you're charging the other. So the answer is indefinitely, I guess, because while you're not charging them, you can be plugging in the case for charging. Interesting.
I've used them watching YouTubes for 2 or 3 hours at a stretch without any problems. Also, they're unlike a lot of earbuds, they don't make my ears hurt.
Very comfortable for me also, perhaps with a different size of tip. Um, so very pleased with them. I told our own Natick Foss group that I bought them for another reason as well. I am eyeing a Foss program that probably most of you can download that will allow me to tune it like your hearing specialist tunes a hearing aid. And they generally tune in about 8 channels over the hearing spectrum. And this will do the same thing. And you can use a standard noise pattern and become your own hearing specialist. Will it be as good as hearing aids? My hearing aids are a great disappointment. It might be a lot better and also work with my computer or smartphone. I'll tell you more later. But this one looked like a natural for that job as well. Maybe in a month I'll have more to say about that.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of good combinations. Finally, I gave you everything you need to take great photos, process them, uh, keep the camera safe in its case, all the pieces I can think of that I would want, except for one, and that's getting yourself in the picture. I can think of uh, two and a half ways to do it. The first way is a selfie stick. You can hold it and poke it out where it's looking back at you and everything behind and alongside you. And good ones seem to cost $50 to $100 unless you look online in the right places. This $8 one has a lot of nice features, and we think it's going to work out well, but we haven't been using it. I've yet to take pictures of myself, um, and I'll be exercising it. It has a tiny size, about 7 inches when it's closed, and it's quite light. It will go into a roomy pocket, uh, and probably go into your shirt pocket and stick up a little, but not be a problem. Um, and we'll see if it'll go in along with a smartphone. Um, when you open it, you can open or not open a tripod. You can open or not open telescoping extension pieces for as far as you like. You can swivel or not swivel, a lot of swivel ability out at the end, up, down, and sideways. And of course, it can grab your phone. And that's almost it, except, can I get more out of this? I can, except there it is up high, and there it is showing the phone rotation on it. And there it is showing how small it will be when closed, about a third of a pound. And this little gadget comes off of it, and you can take it with you while you set it up to look back at you. And when it's where you want, you just click it to take the picture. Any place within about 30 feet will be fine, maybe a little further. Um, so that's a great solution. I think the tripod is rather small. Translation, you may not want to use it outdoors in a high wind, but other than that, I think it'll be fine. Um, what else are they going to show you about it? Um, again, using the tripod. And that's about all I think I'd recommend to most of you, but for those of you who, like us, want the something extra and again, better and at an incredible price, I added one more gadget to my shopping list. And the one more gadget is instead of a little dinky tripod that sits still and looks at you, why don't you get a smart live gadget instead? Come on, guys. Ah, there it comes. And these go for about $100. They're down in price from where they used to be. So I found one of those. You can buy new open box for $27 delivered. This is the same little thing when it folds down, it grabs your phone. It telescopes, but not much. And it has some other tricks instead. Let's go see its tricks.
That's the one you're looking at.
Oh, well. I thought it would open to a bigger one, but maybe it won't. In any case, it does steady video. This camera includes a stabilizer software feature built in. I'd say it's about half good. It'll work for some things, but if you're walking and taking a picture of something ahead of you, uh, you'll the people will know you were walking when you were taking it. It's not that good. This is. So it'll take steady video, handheld, even while you're walking. It'll extend for a selfie, but not as far. It'll be good for live use anytime you want to do something, but you could have it focus on your eyes or focus on your hands, and then it will actually track what you're doing while you're doing it. You can be talking and it'll be watching and moving with you smoothly. And of course, you can set it for doing recordings of different types. This company makes very professional ones at the $1,000 range also. When they've bundled a good one for $100 and you can get it for 27, I thought some of you would want to know. Comes with a lot of stuff and it'll take care of you. I think it's going to do a very good job. Uh, you could set this looking at you standing on the edge of a swimming pool. They have a video of that if you keep looking through the stuff. And it will track your head as you swim a length of the pool. You can dive in and swim, and you'll get a smooth, detailed picture of you in the pool at whatever zoom size you set the camera for. Isn't that nice? It can also talk to the camera, so conceivably you could set it, as in right here, to do the zooming, and you can control it with a downloadable smartphone program, so your smartphone can zoom it, tracking you swimming. Got that?
Wait a minute,
This
you're
is
going to have your phone in the pool?
no, somebody's got to be using the phone to do it if you're doing that, but they don't have to be at the camera. Uh, this is a lot of different capabilities, and you can see how you could put them together to do very powerful packages. Um, the Photox was my jump off point into the whole thing. And for tiny money, I've shown you how to add just about every accessory I think I'm going to want in a year or two to come, and good quality ones at that. That's all I had to say, unless you have questions. And uh, you can get to the site right now by simply going to naticfoss.org and doing the two tricks I did to skip to the archive page and then to skip to the upcoming meeting, which you're invited to, and then just go scroll down to the next meeting below it, which is the latest meeting that's been held. You'll find everything I was showing you, and I will add that $5 alternative for the fast charger, and everything here has been selected to be a good, safe, excellent fit for the pieces in mind. So have fun adding good photography to your Linux computer. All the pieces are there. Any questions?
You want to stop sharing?
I will get out of my sharing, which should be up here somewhere close. Over here.
I have one comment.
Sure.
And it goes way back to the beginning of the whole talk. You mentioned the HP EliteBook 840 G2. That was my primary laptop for a long time. I got it. My school was throwing it away a couple years ago, and when I got it, it had a locked BIOS that had a password on it. But after a lot of trial and error, I did find a tool that was able to unlock the BIOS. So if you ever have issues with getting them with passwords on them, there is a technique that I know of to remove the password.
Well, we've liked them very much. I have not I've run into BIOSes that were bulky, but I've never run into one that my Ubuntu Unity drive or that ISO file on a Ventoy drive couldn't install on. I will give one caveat. We take over the BIOS. We don't keep Windows. We put on Linux and put it on, so we're serious about it. We will put a partition on most of your solid state drive that we probably put into it, and it will be the big part of it. And then we'll put one or more Linux partitions on it that are small.
So if
They
there's a
will
password
all
on
reference, and when we do that, we also put on a boot partition and we override the BIOS. We simply rewrite as if we're reinstalling Windows or whatever. We have not had problems with that route.
Sure. What I'm trying to say is that if there's a password on the BIOS, you won't be able to even reinstall Windows. You won't be able to boot from anything other than the default drive because you won't be able to change the boot order. So
we have not found that that's the case. We found that's the case if you want to get back to your Windows.
That's the case if there's a password on the BIOS. So I guess the ones you're getting don't have passwords. There doesn't have to be a password. But the ones I got, the two I got, each had passwords. And it was not too big a deal to remove them. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've worked at places where you had to have passwords on your BIOS. It was mandatory.
And then the surplus from those places becomes useless to people who don't know how to get around those passwords. You have to take the computer apart and reflash the chip.
Yep.
Well, that's why we buy them through this place that knows how to do that.
We deliver a working computer. And we haven't had that much trouble doing it. Again, they are factory refurbished, but we've taken many other computers and done the same job. And we found that normally you can overwrite the BIOS if you're willing to wipe the system, which is just what we want to do to start. Your mileage may vary. Other questions? I think we're home free. You missed our great sunset, but I'm glad we were able to get everything running. A lot of us were having a lot of trouble hooking in at the start. A reboot fixed my problem also, and I don't know why. Interesting. Well, I thank you all. It's been fun visiting. Um, we demonstrated Photox, I believe, to your group
Yes,
a
you did.
year or so ago,
Yep.
and maybe Sherry can find that. And I'll send. No, I won't. I'll just. Sherry, you've got the link for looking at the page, and I'll add that $5 fast charger to the list. And you
Okay.
folks are all welcome to buy whatever port you want for you, for a dear friend, or just the piece that'll help you round out your set. What a lot of good things.
Okay.
Anybody else doing anything? If no one else is presenting, I'll say good night and have a good few weeks through the hot spell.
Okay. Well, anybody got anything else they want to talk about or discuss?
We need to come up with what we want to do for August and September. Hey, Bill, do you want to do your annual security talk in September? Like crypto history and stuff? We're not hearing what you're saying. I can't hear you.
Bill's muted and frozen. Bill, choose a sunny background.
I guess we can always do this in email.
Yep, that works.
I always think I like to get another talk on Ruby on Rails. The last talk to do that was more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, the last guy who did that, I think, was Rajiv.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Rajiv moved.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
I switched from the headset to the cameras built in. Yeah, I'll find something security like to talk about, probably cryptologic.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Oh, and don't forget the barbecue on Saturday. We'll be missing our chef. So we'll have to take turns cooking.
Anyone have any thoughts on other topics we might cover in the next few months? To hear about?
I'm going to email. Do you remember who's the guy we had for set up for Snap? He actually attended an Install Fest and wanted to give a presentation on Snap and never showed up. And he was a Canonical employee.
I don't remember offhand.
No, I don't remember when it was, and I looked through the meetings, but it was probably 10 years ago.
Wow.
Okay.
So. Okay.
So we can call it quits. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Good meeting.
Thank you.
I don't know what went wrong with my headset microphone, but that explains why my attempts to interrupt Dick didn't work.
Okay.
I definitely agree with his preference for business quality refurbs instead of whatever the big box has on discount this week.
I did. I had a couple of refurb laptops, and they served me very well. And I forget who did the refurb. It was another company, and they were recommended by a friend of mine that actually worked at HP with me.
Yeah, I've been getting Lenovo refurbs at the MIT flea market,
Mm-hmm.
but last couple I've gotten from Micro Center.
Yeah.
My home desktop is a refurb HP machine that lived in some kind of corporation for a while. I bought it via Staples, and the first one I got was almost dead on arrival, but it really took me like 2 months to say, yeah, this board's not working right. And I talked to them, and they replaced it. It came with a 1-year warranty, and the second unit I got works great, and it cost a lot less than a brand new computer.
Yeah, I got a Lenovo from IBM employee program, and the first one I got didn't work well, and I called them, and they shipped another one right out to me. And it was a great computer, but it was very heavy.
For my primary desktop, I'm using Intel NUC micro case system, purchased new at Micro Center. Second one I've had, somehow I managed to smoke the first one after 4 years.
For my desktop, I have a Penguin, and that I got the Penguin when what's his name was spoke at the BLU. John, the cluster guy.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Beowulf. He invented Beowulf. I just can't remember.
Oh yeah, I remember that meeting.
Yeah, he worked at Penguin. So I needed my old tower computer was dying. So I got the Penguin, and I've just upgraded it about 4 years ago with a new motherboard. And motherboard's been working fine. I have no complaints and no need to buy another computer, at least in the near future.
I may have found my problem. The headset microphone had gotten muted in control panel somehow.
Yeah. This one is interesting because it has a mute right there.
Nice.
So you can mute.
My microphone mute. If I hit the earpiece the wrong way, I get muted.
Well,
okay.
I don't know that this earpiece has any such button, and I don't know that would get into the Ubuntu settings volume control mute setting.
No, that would be a Ubuntu thing.
I might go and get one of those cheap earbuds that Dick was showing, because the Jabras I have, they're good. They're very high quality, very comfortable.
Oh yeah,
but they last an hour on a Jitsi.
Right.
My Samsungs last about three hours on YouTube.
I guess if I didn't mind having the nerd strap on the top of my head while on camera, I might do that, or get the desk mic that the big time podcasters have. But
yeah, well,
I mean, with your and my backgrounds, you and I shouldn't mind having a set of cans on our head, should we?
No.
Oh, it's Donald Becker.
Donald Becker, yeah, exactly.
Back in 2005.
So that's how old my Penguin is.
Well,
I put in a
service out of it then.
I put an M2 card in there, and I had a new motherboard, and I'm using hard drives. The hard drives are removable hard drives.
I got
So-
confused with the mute switch on my cable on the cable of my headset just now. I was trying to speak a few minutes ago. Has anybody seen the Raycon Bluetooth headset ads? YouTubers will get a contract to read the ad directly in the video, and the brand is Raycon. Those are really cheap Bluetooth headset and earbuds, and they're just marked up like incredible, like 500, 600%. Don't buy those. If you're going to buy cheap ones, buy cheap ones.
Yeah, I see them. Yeah, I'm looking at them right now online. They're about $100.
Yeah,
Well,
I have no reason to believe they're any better than $10 ones. I haven't seen them personally, but just from what I've heard people say about the product.
Speaking of
Yeah.
$10, a couple of years ago, Micro Center had an end of the aisle end cap sucker display with $10 noise canceling headphones, house brand. So obviously, the original Bose patent must have expired. And so I got a pair. $10. How far wrong could I go? And went for a ride on the red line and turned the on and off switch on and off while playing something back, and it really worked.
Yeah, I have a set of headphones that are Bluetooth that I bought when I was stuck up in the loft, and they're not as comfortable I like, but those do a good job screening out. This particular room I have has an air conditioner in it that blows pretty loudly.
Yeah.
It's effective. And sometimes I actually have to put on my hoodie in here, and I have to keep my wife cool in the other room. So I think by next meeting, I think it'll be in the new condo where we have better heating system.
Yeah, I've got a Bluetooth set of headphones that has a mic that's just a hole in one of the cans,
Yep.
as opposed to a boom. So I don't really use it as a full headset, but just as wireless cans, and it's got much longer battery life than those little earbud things that you and Dick are talking about.
Yeah. Can you send me email with that?
Email with what?
Yeah, I don't like having to put wires on, because sometimes I like to get up and leave the room, go in the kitchen, go pee or something like that.
No, yeah. Well, Bluetooth had cut out if I went to the restroom.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier a dump truck. Dick Miller lives on Lake Kitchitchuit.
Yeah.
And I go several days a week. I go walking along the Kitchitchuit Rail Trail, which goes right through Lake Kitchitchuit. And there's an AMVETS right there. And I was reading the article on the news about the dump truck in Lake Kitchitchuit. And if you put the dump truck right out in front of AMVETS, it would be visible from Dick Miller's house. His house is right on Lake Kitchitchuit.
Yeah.
But apparently the dump truck was in the other section of Lake Kitchitchuit, the other side of Route 9. That's not by the rail trail. And I guess there's another veterans organization out there.
Good heavens. Well, it says it's near post 79.
Let me just see.
No, I had missed the story of the dump truck discovered in Lake Ketchewit. Thank you.
Oh, post 79 is American Legion, isn't it? I just put in post 79.
Well, was there a merger?
No. I just typed in post 79. Let me just see the article. I can probably bring it up.
That AMVET's post 79 is, yeah, real close to Dick and Joe.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
But, you know, you've got the big pond on one side and the little pond on the other, and it
Yeah.
could be on the back side. I don't know.
Yeah, the rail trail runs from School Street in Framingham